There are delays that hurt more than failure. Because failure has an answer, but delay only has silence. You wake up every morning with the same prayer still unfinished. Same hope. Same waiting. Same empty feeling in your chest. You tell yourself to be patient, but deep down you are exhausted. You wonder why God keeps saying, "Not yet," when you are already on your knees. People think you are calm, but they do not hear the conversations you have with God at night. Questions you never say out loud. Fears you hide behind faith. But what if this delay is not God holding something back from you? What if it is God preparing you for something your heart is not ready to carry yet? What if right now, in this waiting, God is teaching you something you could never learn while moving forward? Delays often feel like God has gone quiet, but silence does not mean absence. Many times, God is closest when He speaks the least. Waiting feels heavy because it removes control, and control is what makes us feel safe. When life slows down, you start noticing how much peace depended on progress, not faith. You realize that you trusted movement more than God Himself. And now that nothing is moving, everything inside you feels loud. This is often the first lesson of delay. Faith is not proven when prayers are answered quickly. Faith is revealed when days pass, nothing changes, and you still choose not to walk away. God uses delay to expose what your heart is really leaning on. Was it Him, or was it the outcome you wanted Him to give? You begin to notice impatience rising in small moments. Shorter prayers, frustration in silence. Comparison when you see others moving ahead. And quietly, God allows this discomfort, not to shame you, but to show you what still needs healing inside. Delay becomes a mirror. It reflects fear you did not know was there, trust that was weaker than you believed, and wounds you covered with busyness. When life was fast, you could avoid these things. In waiting, you are forced to sit with them. God is not wasting this time. He is teaching you how to stay when answers do not come quickly, how to pray without timelines, how to trust without guarantees. The delay is not God saying no. It is God saying, "Stay with me here." Because if your faith can survive waiting, it will survive almost anything. And slowly, without you realizing it, God is building something deeper than answers. He is building endurance, humility, and a faith that does not collapse when the clock keeps ticking. As the waiting continues, something else begins to happen inside you. The noise slowly fades, and in its place comes a deeper awareness of your own heart. Delays have a way of removing distractions. When life is no longer rushing forward, you start noticing thoughts you once avoided and feelings you never had time to face. This is where God begins His quieter work. You realize that some of your prayers were not about trust, but about control. You asked God to move quickly because waiting made you uncomfortable, not because you were ready for what you were asking for. Delay gently exposes this truth, not to discourage you, but to protect you. God sees what rushing would cost you, even when you cannot. In this season, God often teaches you to listen instead of asking. You learn to sit with Him without needing immediate answers. The silence that once felt empty begins to feel steady. Not exciting, not dramatic, but safe. This is where faith matures, in the ordinary moments where nothing changes on the outside, yet everything shifts on the inside. God also uses delay to realign your desires. Some doors remain closed because your heart is still chasing things that cannot sustain you. In waiting, those desires lose their shine. What once felt urgent slowly feels less important. And without forcing it, God reshapes what you want, so that when the right door opens, you will not walk through it for the wrong reasons. This season is not about proving your strength. It is about learning dependence. God is teaching you how to lean without falling apart, how to trust without seeing the full picture. Waiting stretches your faith, but it also strengthens it in ways movement never could. Delay is where God teaches you that His presence is enough, even when His promises seem far away. After a while, delay stops feeling like something outside of you and starts working deep within you. This is the stage where God focuses on who you are becoming, not on what you are waiting for. Because if your character cannot carry the blessing would eventually break you. God delays not to deny you, but to develop you. In this season, patience is no longer a word you admire. It becomes something you practice daily. You learn how to respond instead of react, how to stay gentle even when disappointment returns. Every unanswered prayer becomes a lesson in endurance. God is strengthening your inner foundation so that when life begins to move again, you will not collapse under pressure. You also begin to see how delay protects you from paths that look good but lead nowhere. What felt like a missed opportunity slowly reveals itself as a hidden mercy. God sees consequences you cannot see yet, and His timing guards you from pain you never have to experience. Delay teaches humility in a gentle way. You stop assuming you know what is best and start trusting the one who sees the whole picture. Pride softens. Control loosens. You realize that surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. God also uses this time to heal parts of you that success would have ignored. Old wounds, hidden fears, and quiet insecurities rise to the surface, not to harm you, but to be restored. Delay creates space for healing that constant movement would never allow. What feels like slow progress is actually deep progress. God is shaping a heart that can handle favor without losing faith, and success without losing Him. There comes a moment in delay when you stop counting days and start noticing change. Not around you, but within you. The waiting no longer feels as sharp as it once did. You still want answers, but you are no longer desperate for them. This is where trust quietly replaces urgency, and God shows you that peace does not come from movement. It comes from surrender. You begin to understand that God's timing is not slow, it is intentional. What felt like delay was actually alignment. God was arranging people, opportunities, and circumstances in ways you could not see. If things had moved sooner, they would have fallen apart just as quickly. Delay also teaches you how to rest without guilt. You learn that doing nothing does not mean being unfaithful. Some seasons are not about action, but about becoming. God works deeply in stillness, shaping hearts in ways noise never allows. You stop measuring your life by milestones and start valuing growth you cannot boast or explain. You realize that God cares more about who you are than where you are. The delay has slowed you down enough to hear His guidance clearly without rushing ahead of His voice. This is also where gratitude quietly enters. Not because everything is fixed, but because you are no longer fighting the process. You start thanking God not just for open doors, but for closed ones that saved you. The delay becomes a place of learning, not suffering. You may still be waiting, but you are no longer lost. God has used the delay to teach you how to walk with Him, not just toward what He promised. Eventually, you reach a place where the delay no longer defines you. You are still waiting, but you are no longer wounded by it. Something steady has formed inside your heart. You have learned how to trust God without demanding timelines. And that quiet trust has changed the way you see everything. You understand now that God was never late. He was protecting you from becoming someone you were not ready to be. The delay shaped your faith, strengthened your patience, and grounded your identity in God rather than outcomes. What once felt like empty time is now revealed as sacred preparation. You stop asking, "When will this end?" and start asking, "Who have I become?" And the answer surprises you. You are calmer, more grounded, less afraid of uncertainty. The waiting did not weaken you. It refined you. Even if the door has not opened yet, you are ready now. Ready to handle joy without losing humility. ready to face success without forgetting God, ready to move forward without rushing ahead of His presence. So if you're still in a season of delay, do not rush your way out of it. Stay faithful where you are. Stay present in the waiting. God is not ignoring you. He is shaping you. And when the time comes, you will step forward, not just with answers, but with a deeper faith that can carry whatever comes next.